my name in English, and I'm a CF with Access Consciousness, and I've been invited by Betsy. Um, oh, okay. I've been invited by Betsy to give us we talk about creating a new foundation for living. And so I'm going to talk briefly about my own experience, what it's been for me to create a new foundation for living, for my living. And mainly it's going to be about how my first foundation class that I took some 5 years ago, and I now facilitate foundation classes with Access Consciousness, how that first class allowed me to altogether change my relationship with my body. So I'm going to tell you about that. And it all started, I try to be brief, and it all started with that, we question, what is it, body? It's just, a four-word question, but it changed my world, it changed my relationship with my body, and it changed my life, really. And with that question, I built the new foundation, or I set the new foundation for my living. And why? How did I come to that question to start with? And it started with the foundation because that's when I realized that until then I had been forcing my body into things that it wasn't quite so ready to do. I was, and I still am, devoted cyclist, let's say, and had been doing some ultra distance events. I'd been competing in them, and I was the kind of sportswoman who was always asking for more. And I had competitive, let's say, objectives, and I wanted to fulfill them. I wanted my body to fulfill these objectives. That's all I was asking my body. I want that, and you're going to help me get that. And it was not a question at all. Okay, it was just a request, a command, rather, not a question. So with the foundation class, that's what I realized, that so far I'd always been forcing my body to do things. Actually, I'd been in control of it. The only thing that interested me was to take control and to control my body. Because why? Why was it? Because I was so judging it, and I was always, kind of thinking or saying to it, well, you're not enough, you're not enough, you're not enough, you're not tall enough, or I'm not tall enough, or I'm not strong enough, or I'm not fast enough on the bike, or it was always that kind of thing that went on, in my head, all right? And that's what is called judgment. I was judging my body as being mainly lacking. So that's why I was sort of so tough on it, like you're trying to, some parents sometimes that trying to get their kids to do things, and when their kids won't do it, they start, showing some violence toward them. That was what I was doing. I was being violent with my body. And so when I came, but of course my body had, showed me that it was not quite adheres with what I was trying to make it do. So, well, after many injuries, after many crashes while I was on the bike, had well, a severe crash and broken bones, broken spirit, broken everything. I was broken, totally broken. And that's when, strangely enough, weirdly enough, I discovered the access bars and then the foundation. That's when I took my first foundation class 5 years ago. And one of the main things I learned with that first foundation class is that if I really wanted changes in my life, if I wanted my life to go towards ease and joy, that would take the path of questioning, being in the question, not saying I want this and I'm going to do this and that's it, but being in the question. Like, for example, what is it, buddy? Because being in the question takes you away from being in judgment of others, but mainly of yourself and of your body. Being in the question doesn't mean that you ask a question and that you require an answer. That's what I used to do years ago. Being in the question is just saying to, for example, if I ask the question, what is it, body? What I'm saying to my body is, I'm here for you. I have your back. I am talking here to you. We are in a conversation. And we are here to collaborate, you and me. And what I'm saying mainly is, I'm listening to you here. So this is a totally different relationship I started establishing with my body some 5 years ago. Of course, that was step by step by step. But that first question, what is it, body? I started asking it every time I felt something was amiss with my body, like a headache. Well, I used to have lots of headaches, lots of migraines, you know. I don't any longer, never. And when something was amiss, or, you know, I felt, well, my body didn't feel like doing something, or for example, if I started, well, it was the day for training, for riding outside on my bike, and I just couldn't, well, bring myself to I don't know, to get dressed or whatever. Or I was, you know, when you start being slow and well, whatever, I started, what is it, body? And yes, weirdly enough, more and more I started getting not answers, but getting strange ideas I had never had before. For example, that would be well, yeah, let's take this example. For example, if I was on the bike, and I used to have a lot of knee pains when I was on the bikes, on my bikes. And one day I said, okay, let's ask a question. So I asked, what is it? What is that knee pain, buddy? Can you tell me something about it? Can you show me something? And just let it be. I let the question be. And then a few minutes later, that strange idea got into my head. And now, what if you started pedaling not from the hips, not from the thighs, as I used to do, but from the hips instead? So that's what I tried. And the knee pain went away. Just a few seconds later. And that's something I never even thought of doing. And this is one example, but I mean, there are hundreds, thousands of them. And I won't go through all of them. I can't remember all of them. But it's always asking question. What is it, buddy? It can be just a simple question as that. What is it, buddy, here that you're telling me? What is that pain? What can you tell me about it? And what else is possible here? And then you start asking questions all the time. Well, of course, for me, that was for on the bike. But not only, then I started asking questions about the food my body wanted to eat, about the clothing it wanted to me to buy or to wear. I mean, there's no end to it because, well, think of it. Every single second of your life, you live it with your body. So, and the more, I mean, there's no end to questioning. And of course, and you may, yes, some very weird question may come to you. Just go with them, okay? That's what I do. And well, and this has altogether stopped all the judgments I had about my body, and I had lots of them. I can tell you that, lots and lots and lots and lots of them. And my body was never good enough. It was always bad, but never good enough, as I told you before. And since I've started questioning, being in the question with him, or with it, I say with him, strange, that's because of the French, that's the French coming back, with it. And well, I've ceased judging my body, and I'm so grateful, really, truly grateful for what it allows me to do, to be, to discover, and yes, to discover. And exploration is so there's no end to it, because every day it's like exploring and playing. Every day it starts with questioning, and I start exploring and playing with it, with my body. My body is not okay. So there's, how could I'm so connected, and it's like you start bonding with your body. That's, yeah, you could say that, I suppose. And there's no separation. And yeah, I could say that there's no limitation. All right. Of course, I'm not going to climb the Everest right now, tomorrow, because that's not the kind of things bodies do. You have to train them, but ask them, what now, body, I'd like to do that. What would it take for me to do that? Or very often, and what has happened for me is that, for example, my body has become my training coach, sort of. Okay. So I go, well, buddy, I'd really like to do that. What do you think of it? What would you like to do that? Would you like to do that biking event, ultra distance bikepacking event, for example? And if I have a yes, or it's not a yes, but I get that lightness somewhere, I have a sense of that lightness. And, when all your molecules and cells start sort of dancing around, so then I know my body is in for that. So I start asking the question then, so what would be possible here? What training, or where would you like to go, or how long or whatever. Okay. So, but it's always starting with a question, and then I get the answers the way I had the one about how to stop the knee pain, you know, just coming out of from nowhere. And so that's my body. But of course, the more you ask question, the more you start listening to the answers, hearing them first, hearing the answers, not really the answers, but what your body tells you. And then you start listening, because hearing is different from listening to your body. Hearing your body, you can't, well, I suppose you have got to hear your body, okay? Makes itself heard so much, one way or another. But listening to it is altogether different. And that's what changes. And once I started getting into that creation with my body, then everything changed in my life because of my body, and because I started exploring, questioning more and more. So that was it. I suppose it was a bit, but just start. What is it? Body. That's all it takes. Be committed to start asking your body what it wants. What else is possible between you and it? What else is possible here? To be faster, to be easier, whatever. And stop altogether to go to the rightness or the wrongness of what could be a good thing for you to do with your body or whatever. No judgment. Just ask it, whatever comes up, be with it and explore, put it to the test, whatever. No judgment. And then ask again. Now, buddy, is that it? What else is possible here? Show me. And that's what creating the new foundation for my living has been for me, and still is. All right. All started from the question. Well, of course, if you have questions about that, about how questioning can be integrated into a sport training or whatever, or, well, I'll be so pleased to that you get in touch with me. Well, it's a bit, weird presentation, but that's it. Well, bye-bye, and thank you for listening to me, and thank you for starting asking your body a few questions. Bye-bye.